Good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to the garden. Welcome to Garden Conversations with Rose. And today, June 22, I've just come from celebrating my 60th birthday on June the 10th. That was just 12 days ago. And I thought it prudent to share with you 10 nuggets that I believe may be of some benefit and value, may bring you some sort of comfort, since in the garden we are always keen on sharing with you because we think and believe and are of the firm view that your emotional wellness, your mental well being, and your peace of mind are paramount. And we believe that you were born to succeed and triumph as opposed to being down in the dumps and being defeated. We know that life may throw many balls at us and rocks, but it isn't to say that we can't overcome. So, of course, as children, all of us, I believe, may have encountered something that would have created some malaise, may have been an immense sort of trauma, and may very well have left some residue that shows up as we are adults. I want to give you that number one nugget that you are well able to take on that residue and do better for yourself. Because as a child back then, you weren't able to do that. You were not responsible because you had no control. You were accountable to some adults. But now, as a grown up, you can and should proceed in aiding yourself to become a better version of yourself with your fullest potential, as triumphant and victorious as you can, so you can develop and spread your wings and extend your borders. I myself would have told myself that if I had not healed the little girl in me, the woman who I know am today would not have been able to proceed. And of course, there's still some ways to go in some regards, but I know that I've had many strides and I'm well on the way to becoming the best of who I can be. And so that's nugget number one. Take responsibility for developing yourself and doing better despite the trauma that you would have encountered as a child. And so, of course, that leads me to number two. Nugget number two is adults, we may encounter individuals who are downright crass and obnoxious, ridiculous. We may encounter a situation that no matter how much we try, we don't seem to be able to get past it. I want to let you know that as a woman of faith, I believe in the word of God that says, if we lack wisdom, let us ask of God. So I want to encourage you as nugget number two to ask for wisdom when you encounter a situation or an individual that seems bent on retarding your development or your progress, and you feel that you are stuck. That's nugget number two. For nugget number three, I know we just said that there's some humans who are quite obnoxious, but it doesn't stop you from being kind. And so I want to reiterate for nugget number three, the notion of being kind, being kind, being kind. I can't stop talking about it. I think it's a great human attribute that all of us need to take on and hold dear to and exhibit. Be kind, be kind, be kind. Because, of course, despite the fact that there are many obnoxious beings, some persons are laden and haven't yet reached that point of fully being their best. So while they're on their way and while they are struggling still and haven't quite reached the mark, we need not press them down even further. It isn't to say we should hold people accountable when they do things, particularly if it comes in our space or if we're in a position where we have to speak up. But our manner of interaction has to be one of kindness. Everyone deserves human dignity. And so, as we engage with others, the key thing to note is that of kindness. Whatever way that we interact in, kindness must be at the top of it. And of course, for nugget number 4, I can't reiterate, I can't reiterate more and more that of taking care of ourselves. As I said, I've just celebrated my 60th birthday and I am quite excited and I'm quite comfortable that I have made the effort of taking care of myself in many aspects of my life. So I want to say we must take care of ourselves emotionally. And so we've got to know what to leave alone and what to hold dear to. I've often said, you need to know what to leave and what to keep. So, of course, we can't allow ourselves to get drawn up in useless arguments and drama that doesn't serve our peace of mind. We need to leave certain things alone. We've got to take care of ourselves emotionally. We've got to know when to remove ourselves from among individuals that may very well even be family members that drain us constantly. And we can't catch ourselves. We've got to know that point. We've got to have our boundaries. Mentally, as we take care of ourselves, we have to know what is that thing that pushes us over the edge and what draws us into that warm spot. So we've got to always have our antennas up in tune with ourselves. And if we know that we aren't able to get it there, we, of course, by self-care, find a professional, a trusted one that we can get the healing that we need. Because, of course, nugget number 1, I have told you about responsibility in those traumas that would have occurred during childhood. As we take care of ourselves physically, I want to implore you to remember to eat well. Everyone has a favorite thing that they eat that may not necessarily be as healthy as it ought to. And it's quite all right, I think, to have one or two things. But generally, and as a matter of ruling, we have to make concerted efforts to take care of our eating habits, particularly if we are aware of an illness or a condition that has to be treated well by certain dietary needs. And of course, physically as well, we've got to take care of our bodies. So the idea of exercise has to be something in whatever form that you can. And of course, I myself have always been fond of physical activity, whether it be jogging, as I did a lot as a child, or walking. And now, within the last 2 years, going 2.5 years, I have decided to do the gym self-care in the area of strength training that I believe may be vital and essential for me as an older and mature woman. And I am quite enjoying my journey, I might add. Of course, we've got to remember our checks, our health checks all the time. Sometimes certain illnesses creep up on us unawares. Sometimes we have a notion of something that is going wrong, but we delay and delay and delay, and then it's too late. So I have to encourage you to do that. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself financially as well. Times are hard, and we aren't always able to save that big chunk that we want. I'm remembering the idea of the box that I know my mom was part of when I was a child. It helped her a long way in making ends meet when times were difficult. I myself do engage in that sort of thing as well. So I want to implore you, as small as it is, we need to drop something in the bucket for a day when there isn't much. So the idea of saving is important, as small as we can. Take care of yourself. spiritually, that is very important. You've got to know that there is a greater being that would have caused you to be on earth. And so, as we take it so spiritually, we have to put God on the throne of our hearts. We've got to give him precedence at all times. And so that brings me now to nugget number 5. Let him reign and access his throne of grace. It's always available. You know, that red carpet that is rolled out for royalty. Not everyone has access to the royal carpet in certain spheres, but that grace that God has offered us is itself a royal carpet that is rolled out to everyone. All of us have access to the red carpet of grace that we can come to. So I want us to think about that. Without God, we are absolutely nothing. And so, as a woman of faith, I cannot not tell you about putting God in your life and let Him be your guide. And of course, I've got to remind you to celebrate yourself, celebrate the small wins and the small progresses, the small steps that you would have made in whatever way, legally and morally, of course, that you wish to celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself in big ways if you want to. Of course, I myself big on celebrations. I'm particularly big on birthday celebrations because I think that a birthday, when it comes around, is another year to remember what would have gone on and to think about where God would have brought us and is taking us. So it's always good to celebrate. I do celebrate myself. So that's for the first 6 nuggets that I want to leave with you. And of course, for nugget number 7, I want to let you in on something that often, some things that may bring bitterness and anger and angst may turn out to have a positive effect. So I want to tell you for nugget number 7, be open to receive those little surprises that come to you from an unlikely source and an unlikely place. You never ever know when the thing will turn around to be of some value, particularly if you were a person with a good heart and did things well, even if for a long time things may be seeming to be out of sorts. You may see some benefit, a little light coming from an unlikely source. Be open for that. Everything isn't terrible at all. So be open for that. And for nugget number 8, I want to encourage you to do the work on yourself, even if it may be quite difficult. And so it's very well tied into a number of the other nuggets. That idea of asking for wisdom, that idea of being responsible in nugget number 1, of advancing yourself from the trauma. The work may be difficult. Whatever it is in life, we've got to work hard, but don't give up. As I myself continue in the gym, there are some routines that get quite difficult, and I often ask myself, do I really need to be doing this? Am I in the mood sometimes? I don't think I want to be in the mood to do some of them. But when I think about the value that it has and the end result that I'm looking for and the feeling general that it gives me, because emotionally it puts me in a good space, I continue and persist despite the difficulties. I want to encourage all of you out there that in life things may be getting difficult, but do the work despite of the difficulty that it poses. And of course, I need you to know as well, because we have already established that some persons are obnoxious, that there will be persons in life that will seek to put you behind the door. They will seek to serve you on their platter or somebody else's platter. They will seek to put you in a box. But I need you to know that even when they try to do that, you are able to detect. So you've got to ask for discernment. So I said earlier we need to ask God for wisdom, but no, I'm saying now we need also to ask for discernment. Some people are adept at being nasty nice. And when they are nasty nice, they have the agenda to tear you down. Beware of those individuals. Beware of the situations that will come up your way, that you will encounter in your life, and be prepared to act on them. And so, because of those situations of being placed in a box or being put behind the door or even served on a platter, you at number 10 nugget have to set your tone. You've got to let your voice be heard and speak up for yourself, because you simply cannot allow, you are too valuable, you're too worthy, you're too important to allow yourself to be served on someone else's platter. Some people will see your value and your worth, and because they are afraid of what they see in you, may make solid attempts at suppressing you and shutting you up. You've got to set your tone. There may be times when in discernment you are still, but there are other times when you are vocal. But in any way, you are setting your tone. So as we close off, I just want to recap the 10 nuggets that I've shared with you that I've garnered. Of course, there are loads and loads more, but I thought of those 10 as being pretty crucial as I've just celebrated my 60th birthday. So, of course, number one, I need you to know that it's your responsibility to take care of yourself as far as development, irrespective of that childhood trauma that could have left some residual effect on you as an adult. You are now an adult. You can do the work for yourself. Of course, as you go through doing what you do, as you go through encountering others in life, you may very well find persons that aren't going to change their ways, and there are some things that you cannot do anything about. But you've got to seek wisdom in how to proceed. You may be in a work environment, you may be in a relationship, you may be even in a casual setting, and your hands are tied. So, in situations as these, it is wise to employ the wisdom. So, you've always got to ask God for wisdom as you encounter those daily things. That will be nugget number two. And of course, nugget number three, reiterating over and over again the impact and the importance of being kind, because it's a beautiful human attribute to possess, and because all humans are deserving of dignity. People are carrying burdens that they can't handle because they aren't quite there in that place in their life. So it behoves you to be kind. Of course, it's important for you to take care of yourself in many spheres: emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually. Then certainly, as we do so, we let God remain on the throne of our hearts, because He is the one that is always there. His red carpet of grace is always rolled out to all of us to access. And then certainly number six, it is always important to celebrate yourself, the small wins, the small steps, the big things. Celebrate yourself at all times. Now we move on to number seven, that we know that sometimes things that would have previously created some problem, some stress, some angst, some anger, can very well turn around to create some positivity. And so it's important to be open for those positive surprises in our lives. Now, as we go on to number eight, it's important to do the work despite the difficulty, because the end result is that of triumph and victory. And of course, we know for number nine that there are obnoxious humans who are adept at being nasty nice and will make serious attempts to serve you on their platter or someone else's to put it behind the door or to put you in a box. And so, because of that, for number 10, it is wise, as we have our antennas up in number 9, it is wise to set our tone, have our boundaries, be vocal, do what we must, say what we have to, because we can't allow ourselves to be taken under. We are too valuable, we are too worthy, and we are too important. Have a beautiful work week. And of course, remember to stay in the garden. We are coming up closely to our 5th anniversary, and we are going to have something beautiful for you. Have a blessed day. And remember, we are taking care of ourselves. We're doing the work. We are seeking the face of God. We are way of nasty nice. We are setting our tone. We're being kind. We are aware that we are responsible for ourselves. And we're just going to make the effort of being triumphant and victorious because we are worthy, valuable, and our emotional wellness, our mental well being, and our peace of mind are paramount.